Greetings, Captain's here. Today I'll be telling you the proper scientific way to grow your calf muscles. Before we start on what to do to grow them, you need to understand that there is more than one muscle in this area, and here are the muscles. And in order to get a decent, good looking calf, you should train them all. But don't worry, don't be discouraged or anything like that. It's not hard at all. You can activate all of these muscles in 4 simple exercises. And these exercises are standing calf raise, seated calf raise, reverse calf raise, and a single balance on a firm ground. However, the reverse calf raise can be done with or without a machine, as you can see here. So these 4 exercises will activate all of the aforementioned muscles. So you know what exercises you should focus on now. It's time to know how to perform them, how many reps and how many sets, how frequent you should train them, and the best methods to implement to reach optimal results. Before beginning, you should know that the noticeable or the most visible muscles around the leg is comprised mainly of slow twitch muscle fibers. You know, the small, unnoticeable, extremely profound muscles are mainly fast twitch. These kind of muscles are usually type 2B or type 2X. Now you know the composition of the muscle fibers in the calf muscles. Now I will teach you how to train them to make your calves reach their optimal results. In order to properly engage them and achieve hypertrophy to both of these muscle fibers, you need to train them twice a week minimally. For example, on Saturday you should emphasize on the slow twitch muscle fibers, and on Monday you should focus on the fast twitch muscle fibers. It's advised to leave a 24-hour gap between each session to allow the muscles to properly recover. Okay, how to train the slow twitch muscle fibers? Take your 1 repetition max, then take the weight and divide it by 50 to 60%. And if you can make this calculation, go to the link in the description. It will assist you and do everything for you automatically. Don't worry about it. Anyway, take the resulted weight that came out of this equation and use this weight to do between 15 to 30 repetitions for 3 to 4 sets. And increase the time under tension on the muscles by slowing down the tempo of each repetition. Each repetition should be slow, preferably like 4-1-1-1. The reason why we perform them slowly and for many repetitions is for multiple reasons. Evidence suggests that slowing down the speed of repetition during resistance training, which increases the time under tension, will increase growth hormone, testosterone, and epinephrine when compared to shorter contraction times, which are associated with reduced time under tension. Evidence also suggests that an emphasis on the eccentric phase of an exercise, which is lowering or decelerating, in which a weight is slowly returned back to the starting position, will increase local IGF secretion of the muscles being overloaded. Lastly, don't forget that if you look at the table, it says that the slow twitch muscle fibers are resistant to fatigue, and their capillary supply, capillary density, and myoglobin and mitochondrial density is durable and high. And these characteristics are the ones responsible for the durability of these muscle fibers. Thus, in order to fatigue them successfully, achieve microtrauma, which is how muscles get bigger and stronger, you will need to engage these slow twitch muscle fibers the way they intended to be. Now, to the fast twitch muscle fibers part. Almost the same technique will be applied, but a few things will be modified. Rather than lifting 50 to 60% of our 1 repetition max for 15 or 30 repetitions, we will do 70 to 80 repetition of our 1 repetition maximum, for 8 to 15 repetition for 3 to 5 sets, and the tempo will be TOE 1x0, and the X here stands for explosive. It means try to generate all the force that you can generate in the shortest time possible. Currently, it's time for the best methods to implement to reach your optimal results. When you do the aforementioned steps, do a few extra things to reach your optimal results. At the end of each repetition, when your calf is going down and about to start to contract the muscle to do another repetition, pause for 1 second to prevent your body from cheating by taking advantage of the elastic recoil or stretch shortening cycle, which is like a spring-like mechanism in your tendon that releases the stored energy onto your next repetition. Basically, your body is smart and tries to conserve energy by cheating by taking advantage of the momentum by reducing the amount of weight your muscles lift through the aid of the elastic recoil or stretch shortening cycle method. Another thing is something called interstretch or loaded interstretch. Basically, it's a technique where you stretch for 30 seconds between sets rather than just sitting doing nothing or resting passively. Keep in mind that they also added, although these results are intriguing, it should be noted that the stretch was unloaded, hence whether adding resistance to the stretch would have enhanced results remain underdetermined. Either way, logically, if it was beneficial for untrained individuals, then it's definitely beneficial for trained individuals as well. because both possesses the same biological system at the end of the day. And lastly, we cannot really determine which one is better between the loaded interstretch or just ordinary interstretch is better, because as you can see, they said whether adding resistance to the stretch would have enhanced results remains underdetermined. So to summarize, for slow twitch muscle fibers, reduce the weight, increase the time under tension, reps, sets, and tempo. For the fast twitch muscle fibers, slightly increase the weight, reduce the time under tension, reps, and reduce the tempo by making it explosive to recruit the fast muscle fibers. And include both of interstretch with or without load. However, it's advised to do it without any load based on your physical strengths. If you are a beginner, just play it safe and don't add any load or anything at all. And if you're advanced, don't increase the load more than 15% of the weight that you use during exercise. So for example, if you used 15 kilogram on the calf raise machine, when you're going to do the loaded in stretch, use 1.5 kilogram while stretching your calves. As you can see right here, it should be noted that the interstretch was performed with 15% of their working load from the prior set on the different exercise. And lastly, pause for 1 second at the bottom to remove any stored mechanical energy so your body won't cheat, and you can activate your muscles correctly to put your fibers under the effect of microtrauma so they can grow and flourish. Now, you did everything I just told you. It still won't grow quickly or rapidly as you think. Why? There's something called androgen receptors. Androgen receptors are like a bridge between specific hormones and cells. As you can see in the introduction of this study, it summarizes the purpose of androgen receptors, that the action of androgens such as testosterone and whatever this word is are mediated via the androgen receptor. And you're probably wondering now, why am I talking about this? Well, I've just mentioned right now, this hormone is responsible to utilize the hormones that are responsible for the size, growth, and thickness of muscles in both gender, not only in males. And these androgen receptors barely exist in the calf area. Let me explain it to you in an easier way. For example, we have a body right here, and these are the androgen receptors that utilize the hormones responsible for our growth. They exist in abundance in the upper half of our body, and the more you descend from the neck down, the lesser it exists. Based on the studies that can be seen here, the amount of androgen receptors in the trapezius is higher than the ones in the vastus lateralis, which is the outer muscles that's located on your thigh. That's why when someone starts taking steroids or PEDs, you tend to notice the largest muscle groups, the most noticeable or the most muscle that grows the quickest, are the muscles that's located on the superior part of your upper body. Thus, the more you descend, the less androgen receptors will exist, and that will slow the growth of the calf muscles group. So, even if you train them vigorously and consistently, you won't be able to achieve the same results as your upper body, because the GH, which is the growth hormone, or the IGF-1, testosterone, and etc. cannot produce the similar effect because the lack of androgen receptors.